Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, guys. Inshallah, you are finding the series Real Men Say No beneficial. And this is the third video, so here we go. Although you are both compatible, like cheese and onion, milk and Rice Krispies, beans on toast, the night and the moon, a squirrel with a nut, headlights and hair, Muslims and terrorism. Okay, chill out. And ultimately attracted to each other, like deep down, like really deep down. Keep digging, son, you'll find it in there somewhere. Dad, I found it, it's tiny. Pass me the microscope. But there is a tiny little ember there, still glowing. That can potentially be blown up into a spark and maybe brought back to life. But as happens often, maybe after having those ungrateful babies, i.e. poop machines and puke generators, or being overrun by modern slave labour in all but name, i.e. work, and the overall grind of modern life, as happens a lot, especially if you're living in a busy, urban, super developed part of the world. Trust me, it's not all it's cracked up to be. The red on the UK passport represents blood. So, you might both be working just to make heads way. You have a huge, sun-sized, hefty mortgage to pay off. You slog your lower pecs off getting that haram mortgage.
Interesting, innit?
That you're going to burn in hell for like a million years, probably bending the rules this way and that, maybe breaking the law, no comment. And then once you've got it, you're not going to lose that stupid house, are you? It's like probably the only thing, your one and only thing and achievement you'll ever have to show for your consumer-driven, uber materialistic life when you're 65 and your spoilt, uni-educated brat says, "Oh, father, so what have you actually done with your life?" So he's standing there in his Armani suit, oozing cologne, his half-white Asian supermodel wife who says,
"Fly like a mum, daddy."
And you're standing there for 15 minutes trying to work out what she said, and then suddenly your push son's like, Dad, Rebecca said salam to you. And you're like, "Oh, she did, son. What else can that piece of senseless gibberish mean?" So the husband and wife might have unsociable working hours. You can't always control what shifts you're going to get. If you can, lucky you. I'm happy for you. Not. So they barely see each other. Breakfast is frantic, dinners are crazy, a milk spill here, crushed cornflakes underfoot, because you are raising little half-humans with a half a brain whom thinks setting the couch on fire and drinking bleach is a healthy lifestyle option. These brats take forever to develop a sense of right or wrong. They bump into everything like a clueless walking dustbin. You have to keep repeating stuff to them, these retarded halflings. Eat with your right hand. Eat with your right hand, son. I said eat with your right hand. For God's sake, man, eat with your right hand, will ya? And then your wife's like, he's only one. He doesn't know what a right hand is yet. Go easy, you useless husband. Shopping, school runs, cooking and cleaning, health issues might all mean that the husband and wife simply aren't spending any solid quality time with each other. And now their romance has just completely disappeared from the marriage. None of that special tingling feeling, none of that desire to want to be in her company, none of that desire to share something with her, to cuddle up and watch a movie together, none of that desire to place, say, a British Queen strawberry in her mouth. So it's like a desert now. Parched, barren, like your fast balding head. The hair you've got left has now added another task to your weekly grooming. Oi, can you come here for a second? What? I'm busy! I need you to sort out me hair. Go to the barbers like everyone else, you weirdo. No, it's not that. It's the other stuff. You know, white hair. Oh, I told you the other day, if I take them out, you'll have nothing left. Now, Romance is not like something that falls from the sky into your waiting lap unless you're very lucky. If you're thinking Titanic, Romeo and Juliet, Layla and Majnun, the Taj Mahal, Mumtaz and that weird soppy romantic Shah Jahan, then we're done. You're a good boy. Here's a gold star, and next week our target is counting from 11 to 20. So yeah, I'll see you then, okay? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subscribe, share, like and comment. Adult romance, now that is real romance, not the kiddie stuff you see in movies, is like anything else in life. You have to work at it, man, or it simply just goes. It just evaporates, doesn't it? You gotta put in the shifts, man. You know, like at the gym, you've lifted 12s, but you gotta get to the 18s, man, and you push yourself, straining away on the bench like a bungs up your tunnel and you're constipated. Well, we need some of that, don't we? I know it's boring and ironically so unromantic. Yes, working hard to create romance sounds so counterintuitive, doesn't it? You're thinking, if I have to work at it, then it can't be really romance, can it? Society, our garbage pop culture, unlike everything else in life, teaches you that it is all supposed to just happen to you, right? Violins ought to be always playing, birds should be tweeting when you're together, the sun should be breaking through the clouds, and you should both be elevated an inch off the ground when in her presence. Oh God. It's going to be a big fall for you. Honestly, I feel sorry for you. I'm going to tell you a little quick story. My grandparents would always say, come to Bangladesh, come to Bangladesh. Once you're here, you'll like it. And we had like not been in ages, like over a decade. When I'd hear that from them, I'd be like, I watch the news. No thanks, but I'd rather not contract TB, get battered in the airport, or kidnapped by some longy gangster for a paltry 50 quid. So I'm okay. Here guys, in the UK, it's safe, the heart of the democracy, law and order, where I can count on clean water and relatives who give you the opportunity to take your clothes off in your bedroom without barging in and saying, oh, that's a nice jumper, will you marry my daughter? You're like, what? Talk about a savage segue, if there ever was one. It's enough to bleeding take off your poor head. But they kept insisting for years, once you're here, grandchild, once you're here, watch. You'll fall in love with the place. You will watch. You will watch. Little did I know what they meant by that powerful word love. But I soon found out, didn't I? So, when I eventually mustered the courage to go, lo and behold, as Fanny is your step-aunt and Tariq is your crazy uncle, I bloody loved it. And the more time I spent over there, despite all the usual issues like mosquitoes, bad sanitation, and three-headed demented relatives, I ended up loving my time over there. The 2 times I was there. So what's the lesson? Well, I closed that distance between me and Bangladesh, didn't I? I physically went there, put in the effort, the hard work to immerse myself in the experience of the traveling, the scenery, the food, and the unique smells, forcing myself beyond my comfort zone and getting to know people, relatives, even those not particularly pleasant, understanding their difference and their perspectives on life, their struggles and hopes, and by doing that, working at it, even when it wasn't easy, you can imagine going after so many years in a weird kind of way, just as they said, I managed to fall in love with the place and its people. It wasn't perfect, but which place is? God, there were major issues, major ones. It's literally like 4 weddings and a funeral over there, every day, if you know what I mean. It's a weirdly amazing, somewhat perverse place, and you enjoy it for all the wrong reasons. Like every time you're in one of those CNGs or little death trap taxis, you're effectively smoking 10 a day. I mean it. By the end of the week, you've lost like a pint of blood to mosquitoes, and you're eating so much street food that you might as well be drinking straight out of a sewer. But in a strange way, it does connect you to something you don't get here in the West. Reality, I suppose. I know this is a cliche, but you do see real poverty over there. People who literally have nothing but the clothes on their back for possession, people with apparently no hope and yet somehow hopeful, beggars, physically challenged, diseased, even the insanely wealthy, all living side by side. People with nothing, yet somehow hopeful. It pushes you to see humanity pushed to its most extreme limit and what people are actually capable of, man, in the face of adversity. You appreciate what you have or you don't have, and take the lesson that you are stronger than you might think. Heck, if they can do it with all their material disadvantages, what excuse do we have over here? None. I suppose when the world is so bare naked, harsh and tough, and you don't know where your next meal will come from, it pushes you to dig a little deeper to a point of a rarely kindled, at least here in the West, spirituality that transcends reality as we know it. Now, obviously, there's a huge difference between marriage and traveling. I understand that, but I want you to focus on the principle. Working. The principle of working at something, putting in the effort, immersing yourself in an experience fully, and then having that experience alter, boomerang, in turn, shift your own perception and view of things. So with much in life, the more you put in, as a general rule, I'm sure you'll agree, the more of a chance you have of getting something back from that particular experience. So the more time you spend with your wife, you see what I'm doing here? The more you invest in, say, quality occasions, dinners, dates, holidays, joint parents' evenings, movie nights, afternoon walks, weekend escapades, the more you give your marriage and that romance the opportunity to flourish and grow and to stay alive, the more chance it has to do so. This is not rocket science, but I understand it's difficult. Spending time and making an effort is like composting the flower bed of your relationship. You are laying the groundwork, the necessary soil work, in order to give your relationship a chance to grow and embed itself into your lives. And this you must continue doing so persistently. Keep watering that soil, man. Make sure you keep the weeds away. Make sure it has adequate access to sunlight. You need to keep an eye on it. Getting back to the issue we're discussing, so the problem of no romance has been left to fester, say, and has somewhat spiraled out of control. You haven't faced up to the problem, maybe due to lack of time, or you feel you don't have the energy or the emotional intelligence and wherewithal, and are now both slowly sliding and drifting apart. Now, there is no manual for falling in love, but we still manage it. It can just happen. It's probably the easiest part of the process. We kind of do better on that front than anything else, don't we? But on long-term romance, once you're married, well, that is the big obstacle we almost all stumble upon and manage to somehow mess up without even realizing. Even less so, we're even more clueless on how to fix the problem of an unromantic marriage. We can be the most intelligent and successful person at work, but when it comes to fixing a relationship, especially our own, we can actually be pretty useless. It's hard to sometimes fix your own problems because you are too involved and a party in it. Being a part of the problem, it's hard to stand back and be objective. Most men in this position fall in the trap of ignorance and convince themselves that they do not love their wife anymore. It's over. They assume that a lack of romance is evidence of a lack of love and potentially feelings, when reality is a lack of romance is only evidence of a lack of romance. More specifically, it's actually evidence of a lack of time and emotional investment. Love, feelings, companionship don't just appear out of nowhere and exist in a vacuum. No, it is connected to and supported by the real-world material scaffolding of time, bodily effort, emotional energy, the active union of two people, two human beings, real-life human beings, experiencing the magic and the hell of life together. You can imagine yourself swimming in the seven seas all you like for all eternity. You can touch water, you can drink water, but until you jump and get yourself wet into that ocean, you never know what that truly feels like. A relationship is not some esoteric, suspended in air, platonic ideal some of you stumble upon in lives. It is a real physical thing. It exists no further than in your wife. It is her face. It is her hair. It is her smile. It is her voice and manner of walking. She embodies it. This is where it exists, in every strand of hair and mark on her body. So you can imagine, if you stop yourself physically from seeing and experiencing all that stuff from her, have a barrier, if you erect a barrier between yourself and her for long enough, for whatever reason, I'm not blaming anyone or judging anything, as night follows day, the magic will inevitably go, the feelings will evaporate. You have to remember, there is no thing on its own called feelings existing by itself. Feelings have to be connected to something real, or rather someone. In this case, it is your wife. She is that romance. It is her. She is the feeling, the very representation and face of your feelings. Don't complain that you can't see when you have voluntarily shut your own eyes. That's your fault. Open your eyes and you shall see. So, in a situation like this, once a man or indeed even a woman is in this position, it gets a lot easier for a man to stray and commit infidelity. That's tough. Because in his manly head that can't think about more than one thing at a time, at the best of times, he thinks it's over. it's finished. The relationship is over. Remember, what happens in your head is reality for most people. How we see the world from our viewpoint controls much of our behavior and motivations. That's just how it goes, I'm afraid. The human mind usually works on first-order assumptions on much of life's primary concerns, especially when we are stressed out and pushed for time. That is why stressed out people make very bad decisions. If he has emotionally detached himself to such a degree that he is now bereft of all his mental loyalty and commitment to his wife, then he will feel somewhat unaccountable to his wife, free, unencumbered, now seemingly free to do as he wills. Now, even at this point, not all men will take the jump, so I'm not judging everybody, but the chances of the husband, and the probability and, well, the possibilities of the husband cheating has drastically increased a lot. A bigger part of the unconscious groundwork has been laid out, if you will. Now, sadly, he is effectively a walking, hate to say this, a walking time bomb, girls, to your marriage. Sadly, if he is a weak, poor character to boot, he is now able to cheat. I'm sure he wouldn't. I'm sure he wouldn't. Relax. I'm sure he wouldn't. I can't see Jerry cheating on you, girl. I'm sure he wouldn't. Course not. He ain't gonna cheat. He loves you, man. He loves you deep down. He can't show it. He doesn't show it, but he loves you. So we've looked at another angle to the issue today. This is the problem about basic time, how having busy lives and not having time for each other can seem innocent on the surface. You can almost put it on the back burner, but it will slowly come back to bite you in the lower pecs and become a huge threat to your relationship. When you are not seeing enough of your partner, alarm bells should be ringing. You are potentially on a very serious road, and your husband is on the road to becoming Boris Johnson. In the next episode, we shall discuss another cause of why a man may cheat. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us all and keep us from this sin and guide us. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment and share, and I'll see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.